so you couldn't do the impossible and watch all of the 9 games on matchday 4 of the UEFA Women's Champions League, but you want to recap? Well, you are in the right place. With only 2 match days left in the league stage, the table is starting to solidify and some clubs may be in trouble. Let's jump right in with the early games on Wednesday, starting with Wolfsburg versus Manchester United. What the f***? Are Wolfsburg back? Or maybe the Manchester United defense has some issues. Especially with a 21-year-old goalkeeper at the helm. Safia Middleton-Patel made some errors which directly led to Wolfsburg goals, but Letizier and the former Wolfsburg player, Dominic Janssen, were not helping her. Playing against her former club, who else but Fridolin Rofo to open up the scoring for Manchester United. This is Rofo's 3rd consecutive Champions League game she has scored in. The game would quickly turn though. Ella Pettimores equalized for Wolfsburg after a missed pass by Middleton-Patel. Then, just 20 minutes later, Pettimores would then get a brace with a perfect strike? I don't know, that ball should have been cleared by the back line or saved. 2-1 Wolfsburg. Then, a few minutes before halftime, Lineth Berenstein curled an absolute worldy top bins. Nothing United could do. 3-1 Wolfsburg. Just 1 minute later though, Melvin Millard pulled this crazy move to put United only 1 goal down heading into the break. They were unable to continue momentum though, and Wolfsburg scored the first goal in the second half after a great effort by Berenstein again. Game's already over. After a wayward pass by Jade Riviere right to Vivian Endeman, Wolfsburg hit the final nail in the coffin, 5-2. Yeah, this backline just may not work. United somehow still sit in 5th with 9 points, just 1 spot below automatic qualification for the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, Wolfsburg jumped to 3rd on goal difference. United do have a tough last 2 games in the league stage, Lyon at home and Juventus away. It's not easy for Wolfsburg, also as they face Real Madrid and then Chelsea. Both clubs have qualified though, at least for the playoffs, so they will advance. An equally insane game was played at the same time. Despite the choice to have Cristiana Girelli on the bench to start the game, Juventus stunned Lyon, going 3-0 up at halftime. But the perennial champions did show great fight to make it a draw. The youngster Chiara Beccari opened up the scoring for the Italian giants with an absolute beauty. Like, I'm not joking, I jumped out of my chair. Emily Vansgaard just undressed Lindsay Heaps to set up Beccari. Shout out to MS Dolengodo for the assist. I will never miss a chance to give my Norwegians their flowers. Michaela Kambayagi then poked one home to put Juventus 2-0 up over Lyon, and then Tarsian somehow bit on the fake by Vansgaard, sending Tatiana Pinto through to put Juventus up 3-0 up entering halftime. What? Lyon roared back in the second half though. Ada Hegerberg with a beautiful pass to Tabitha Chiringa, bang, 1-3. Bacha with a great cross, water is wet. Katoto doing Katoto things, bang, 2-3. Then in the 89th minute, Juventus can taste it. They commit a handball in the box. Despite Payard Mangin going the right way, Renard puts it past her former national team teammate, and it is all square in the 90th minute. It's not over though. A cross is whipped in the 94th minute into the box off a set piece, and Yulia Brand off the bench scores it. Oh wait, there's no way. Wendy Renard bumped her teammate offside. I'm not joking. Live by the sword, die by the sword, I guess. Juventus will be disappointed with a draw after going 3-0 up, but honestly getting a draw against Lyon is a huge result for them. Juventus have put themselves in a really good place in the table at 8, while they now only have St. Pölten and Manchester United. Lyon still sit at 2nd after the draw and will face Manchester United next, followed by Atlético Madrid. Arsenal versus Real Madrid, and I think Madrid have PTSD from last year, because they go right up before halftime. Who else but Caroline Weir with a stunner. Also, just perfect timing with the Arsenal chant.
It's going to be an in-swinger.
Then though, in the dressing room, I think Arsenal realized, oh yeah, Misa is not a good goalkeeper. Russo had a great brace, giving Arsenal the comeback victory, just like last year. Real Madrid will Real Madrid. If I'm Arsenal, I'm pretty happy with that defensive performance. Emily Fox neutralized Athenia. I know some Arsenal fans have been critical of Renee Sleggers recently, but look, she has Russo actually scoring goals like an actual number 9 instead of getting assists. I'd say this is a huge success. Despite being in 10th place, Arsenal will most likely add on 6 points with their last 2 games, Twente and OH Leuven. Real Madrid are still in 7th despite the loss, having an interesting game against Wolfsburg next, then FC Twente. Paris FC versus Benfica. This was the most obvious result to ever result. The second Caroline Muller got sent off in the 30th minute, it was over. Paris FC's star Clara Matteo played well, but the real story was 23-year-old Anale Le Magwadek providing both assists of the match. The first to Maylene Mendy right before halftime, and then the other one after halftime to Maëlle Garbino, putting Paris 2-0 up in the 62nd minute. Personally, I think Lucia Alves deserves the right to cuss out her teammates in the locker room. I mean, to be fair though, the Paris FC defense was great. Definitely something to watch in the next games against Vålerenga and Barcelona. I expected more from the Norwegians Angus Vick and Merit Lund, though for Benfica given their experience in this competition. Paris FC women will fight for their place in the playoffs against Vålerenga next, and then, unfortunately, Barcelona. While even more unfortunately, it's basically over for Benfica, as their next opponents are Barcelona and PSG. The final game from Wednesday was a pretty underrated game between Vålerenga and St. Pölten. Yeah, Vålerenga choked. Karina Saivic opened up the scoring for Vålerenga in the 11th minute, with the assist coming from Yilin Tenebo. And just 8 minutes later, the best player in the top Syrian, Olag Tveden, scores from a ways out, which I mean probably Karina Schüttler should have saved, but still. Gemma Granger. Why is Olag Tveden still not in the national team? Why? Where is she? I actually thought the game was over, but English striker Kes Elmore pulled one back for the Austrian club right before halftime. Then later in the match, Vålerenga fully shot themselves in the foot as Sarah Hort committed a handball off a shot by Leila Penau, and the Austrian centre-back Jennifer Klein equalized for the visitors. No team could find the net after that, ending 2-2. This is a huge blow for Vålerenga's chances of progressing, as they do play Paris FC and Bayern Munich next, but they do have a history of getting results against Bayern. Huge moment for St. Pölten though, as they score their first goals in the Champions League this season. Unfortunately for St. Pölten, they play the two Italian giants next, Juventus and Roma, to wrap up the league stage. Now on to Thursday's games. Atlético Madrid undressed FC Twente, oh my god. I said in my league stage preview that Atletico's offense lived and died by Luani. Yeah, I was wrong. Julia Bartel is, oh my god, she's been so good since joining the former Spanish champions on loan. 4 different goal scorers for Madrid, including Bartel's absolute worldie. This round has been insane with the goals scored. Saregi started the rampage in the 29th minute, followed by Bartel. The Norwegian Sin Jensen, yes, I'm pointing out all the Norwegian players, made the game 3-0 in the 67th minute with an absolute wonder strike. Then the 21-year-old Spaniard, Fiamma Benitez, finished it off 4-0. Jill Roord was completely neutralized by Atletico's midfield, which is probably the most underrated midfield in the world, honestly. Atletico get a much-needed win, as our next opponents are Bayern Munich and Olympique Lyon. Their loss to Juventus last matchday could come back to haunt them. Meanwhile, Twente's last matches are Arsenal and Real Madrid, so not great. Paris Saint-Germain versus Bayern Munich. After starting off their Champions League campaign with a 7-1 loss to Barcelona, Bayern have roared back with wins over Juventus, defending champions Arsenal, and now PSG. Who else but Sakina Kachauri to put PSG ahead 1-0 at the 16th minute mark, only for Linda Dahlmann to immediately equalize after. Don't know why she wasn't called up for the Germany squad this camp. Momoko Tanakawa absolutely embarrassed De Almeida in the 34th minute, giving Bayern Munich a 2-1 lead. The two teams then went back and forth for the rest of the game, but ultimately, Bayern pulled away, with Damjanovic scoring in the 89th minute. Mary Earps. Woof. PSG have now lost all of their Champions League games this season. They can finish with 6 points though, as their last two opponents are OL Leuven and Benfica, but low-key Leuven is pretty good. Munich are currently at 4th in the table, which would give them automatic advancement to the quarterfinals. They face Atlético Madrid next, then Vålerenga. How? The downfall of Roma has been unfortunate to see. This is a game they needed to win and should have. Luca Rossettini has been a disaster so far since his appointment as manager this summer. Actually, that may be a little dramatic for me to say because they are first in Serie A. However, the Champions League has been a disaster for Roma. A 6-2 loss to Real Madrid matchday 1, 4-0 to Barca, then a 1-0 loss to Vålerenga. It's matchday 4 and they finally have 1 point. Eveline Wiens opened up the scoring in the 18th minute for Roma. And here's the thing, Roma dominated the whole game. Giada Gregi put in an absolute shift. Unfortunately for Roma, Belgian goalkeeper Louise Seinhav decided that she is prime Manuel Neuer, making 11 saves. Well, you know, it's a 71st minute and they're still 1-0 up. A win's a win. Oh no. What the hell are you doing? Leuven's 22-year-old Dutch striker puts away the penalty and gives Leuven the improbable point at home for the Belgian club. They're now tied with Paris FC for last place in the playoffs, but they will play PSG and Arsenal next. Technically, Roma still have a small chance if they pull themselves together and win out. Unfortunately, while one of those games is against St. Pölten, the other is against Chelsea. Speaking of Chelsea, they did it! Somehow! A 1-1 draw against Barcelona, and both sides looked real threatening, which is crazy because Chelsea just drew to Liverpool 1-1. But to be fair, Barca's form is questionable also. Sonja Van Pastor may have low-key saved her job by benching Millie Bright for this game because they would have lost if she started. Naomi Girma was doing Naomi Girma things, amazing to see her back in form. I'm not gonna lie though, when I saw Carpenter was the winger while Lucy Bronze was starting at right back, I was sure Chelsea were going to lose. But it paid off. Ellie Carpenter scored the opener in the 16th minute. Then Barcelona hit back less than 10 minutes later with who else but my Ballon d'Or winner Eva Payeur with the equalizer in the 24th minute. This game was absolutely insane, back and forth, back and forth. Both defenses played pretty well. Chelsea managed to neutralize Bonmati and Putellas. Crucially, the Barcelona midfield missed out on Patrick Guajardo, whose absence really showed her importance to this team. It seemed like Chelsea got the lead in the last quarter of the game, but Catarina Macario was ruled offside by a really close margin. I don't know about that, I'll be for real. Chelsea should have actually probably won this game actually, because Barcelona is very lucky with the draw, as Ellie Carpenter should have won the game here, but missed this sitter. A pretty positive result though for Chelsea though, considering their history against Barcelona. The Catalan club though still look dangerous, so we will see how Per Romeo's side adapts. I wish we saw Kika Nazareth in this game though. Despite the draw, Barca still sit atop the league and are confirmed to advance, while Chelsea are right behind the automatic quarterfinal spot. Barcelona's schedule should be nicer to them moving on with Benfica than Paris FC. Meanwhile, Chelsea have a desperate Roma next and then an up-and-coming Wolfsburg team. Thank you so much for watching this recap. Here is the current table one last time. What result surprised you the most and who do you think had the best goal of the round?